Hello. आवाज येतोय का सर?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Welcome आणि गुड मॉर्निंग तुमचं.
सर थँक्यू सर.
फक्त आपण काय करू 2-3 मिनिट वाट पाहू, बाकीची मुलं जॉईन होतील.
शुअर.
Hello. So good morning to all. Hello, sir. Patwekar, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, I think we will start. Meanwhile, the
sure.
participant will be joined.
Sure.
Okay. So, dear participants, today we have with us Dr. Shailesh Patwekar, sir. He is assistant professor at School of Pharmacy, SRTM University, Nanded. Friends, he is a well-known teacher in the School of Pharmacy, and he has completed one research project and 7 research papers he has published in national and international journal of international repute like Scopus and elsewhere. He has given 3 invited talks. He has also organized various seminars and conferences, and one book is organized. One book is published by him. Also, he has participated in various orientation and faculty development program. The noteworthy feature of him is his PhD in pharmaceutical sciences. He has completed his PhD from SRTM University, Nanded, on the topic design and development of nano biocomposite as a drug delivery system. So, which is very important and very interesting topic he has worked on during his PhD degree. So, without wasting much more time, I welcome Dr. Shailesh Patwekar, sir, to this PhD coursework program organized by Science College, Nanded. So, I welcome on behalf of all the participants and on behalf of Research Committee, Science College, Nanded. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, now I request Dr. Patwekar, sir, to proceed further his guest lecture.
Yes. Good morning. First of all, I am thankful to Dr. Vishal Marathi sir for giving me this opportunity to deliver a talk on our research ethics. I'm thankful to you, sir, and good morning to all participants who are over here for their coursework. So, am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, you are audible, sir.
Thank you. So, I'll share my screen with my presentation. So, this is visible now to all. Is this visible to all?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is visible.
So, good morning. Today I am going to deliver the talk on scientific conduct, ethics with respect to science and research. So this is the topic which is included in your coursework, third paper. Okay. So in this research ethics, so ethics with respect to science and research. Okay. So myself, Dr. Shailesh Patwekar, as sir has introduced me. I'm working in School of Pharmacy, SRTM University, Nanded. So first of all, we have to know about what is the intellectual honesty. Okay. So we are doing the PhD, means we all are the intellectuals. Okay, we all are the intellectuals. We all are the researchers. Okay, so as the researcher, we have some responsibility. Okay, as a researcher, we have some responsibility. We have responsibility like we have to maintain the dignity in our professional life, we have to maintain the purity in our professional life. Okay, so we have the duty to be honest. Okay, because we know the research, which research which you are going to perform, which you are going to conduct in your research duration, that should be novel work. Okay, as we know, every part of the research, right from the writing of the synopsis, right from the submission or presentation of your synopsis, up to the thesis submission or up to the getting your degree. So every step is very important in the research, okay, in your PhD duration. So honesty is very important, okay, because so many things they are depend on the basis of the honesty. Okay, so this intellectual honesty, it means we have a moral duty to be honest. Okay? So this duty is especially important when we share the ideas that can inform or pursue with the other. Okay? No doubt, we are doing the research. Okay, means we are searching it again, which is available, which is already available, but we are presenting that, or we are doing some modifications, or we are updating some knowledge which could be important for getting the degree. Okay, so getting the degree is not only one of the objective of our research, but to maintain the honesty is most important. Okay, just we can understand the getting the research, getting the results. Okay, it is not that much important because we know many of the research, many of the Nobel laureates, they didn't get the success in their first attempt. Okay, and most of the research, as we know, they are accidental research. Okay, means due to the failure also we can achieve something, and from that failure we have to learn something, and we need to update that research or that finding. Okay, so to get the result is not the rationale behind your research, but to learn something, to update something, to put something in front of society is the main objective of the research. Okay? So this honesty is very important, right from, as I told you, from the writing the synopsis to the submission of the thesis. Okay? So this intellectual combines the good faith competencies which we put at primary stage. Okay, primary stage, what we put the hypothesis in the synopsis, or we put that this could be the result that we will get, we will achieve in the synopsis. Okay, but whenever the actual research starts, when the candidate we start with actual research, so he will get the, or he has to be bind with the motivation, or he should get the motivation towards seeking the true benefits. Okay, so true benefits that should be get or that should be achieved by that candidate. Okay. So the honesty that combines the good faith with the primary motivation. Okay. Primary motivation is very important to get the belief, true belief, which he put in the his research proposal. Okay. And then next part, that is intellectual honesty, which is applied method of problem solving, which can be characterized by unbiased, honest attitude, which can be demonstrated in number of different ways. Okay. So how we are going to maintain the honesty? Okay. So this honesty is the applied method. Okay. Applied method of problem solving. Whatever the problem we are going to face in the research performance, while practical performance, as we are science students, we are going to perform the practicals which are based upon the problem. Okay. So while conducting these practicals, while performing these practicals, we will face many of the problems. Okay. So to characterize by unbiased that problem, our attitude should be honest. Okay. Our attitude should be honest. Many times, number of times, we have to repeat the practical. So at that time, we should be with positive attitude while ensuring the support for the chosen ideology which will interfere with the pursuit of truth. Okay. So the truth is very, very important. The results which we are achieving, that should be actual perform, the relevant facts and the information which should not be omitted purposefully. Okay. So whenever one's hypothesis, one proposal that can put in front of the researcher, so that researcher he should work on that with positive attitude. He should try to solve the problem, the actual problem which is available in front of that researcher. Okay. So different facts which are presented, that should be unbiased manner. So it should not twisted to give the misleading impression or to support one view over another. Okay. So our view, it should not be uh, that multiple times or unbiased manner. So it should not be twisted. We should not give the misleading impression or to support one view over another. Okay. So many references or the earlier work which are acknowledged where possible and plagiarism is avoided. Okay. So these things like plagiarism avoid, then the references, how to write the references and how to give the citation, how to acknowledge. So these are things that should be included wherever. Okay. So right from the writing of the synopsis till the writing of thesis, we should collect the references, cross references, which are very, very supportive while presenting your research. Okay. So to present this research in front of any external or any referee or any examiner at that time, when whatever the practical things, whatever the practical work you are doing, that should be based upon some references. Okay. So the development of method, the things which we are performing, they all that all the things, they are based upon some earlier references, and if you are doing something novel which is not available with the reference. Okay, suppose you are considering you are doing the research of 10 things, but the presence or the presence of the references which is available with 5 things. Okay, so at that time you have to keep the references of available 5 things. Okay, and other which you are going to do the novel, that you have to skip out, or that you cannot put in the that references. Okay, so these references or earlier work which has been done, that should be acknowledged in your report. Okay. Then ethics. Okay. So this ethics is also very important. So what is ethics? So ethics means, this is a Greek word. Okay. This ethics, it is a Greek word which is derived like ethos. Okay. So ethos, it is the Greek word which meaning the person's character, okay, or the nature of that person, or the disposition of that person. Okay. So it defines, it reflects the nature, okay, and it also reflects the character, and it also reflects the disposition. Okay, many times we say that that person is ethical or unethical person. In medical field, that EMR, medical representative, they use this word, that he can do the ethical practice or unethical practice. Or many of the professions, they are depend on this service, or depend on this ethical practice. Okay? So ethical, it is mean the loyal, it is mean the true, or whatever he saying, that is related with the morals. Okay? So treating of the moral questions, so he should be morally correct, he or she, or any atom, like it may be the live atom, or living atom, or non-living atom. Okay, so many of the things, like you are writing some point, or you are giving some speech, or you are giving some lecture, you are giving some advice. So that should be ethical. Ethical means it should be bound with the principles, or it should be true. Okay. So most of the time we have to be positive and ethical. Okay. So many of the time we should try that we should be ethical, we should be bound with our principles, we should be correct with the moral, we should be honorable. So it is the state of principles of moral. Okay. So in other words, we can also say that science of morals, then moral principles, then rules of conduct. So this whole field is of moral science. Okay. So that science should be based upon the principles of the morals. Okay. So every part, every true fact that is present on the basis of some ethics. Okay. Then distinction between the right and wrong, or good and evil. Okay, so this ethics is very big word. Okay, in research we should perform the ethical research. Okay, so in relation to action, volition, or character of responsible being. Okay, so we should be be responsible with our character. We should be responsible with our words. We should be responsible with our research, what we are performing. Okay? Then ethical problems in social science research. Okay? So in society, we can found the ethical problems. Okay? So which are that ethical problems? So we will discuss one by one. Which are the ethical problems? Okay? So it is the complex of a single research problem. Okay? It is a complex between single research problem that can give rise to multiple questions of proper behavior. Okay? So this complexity means what? If there is a single research problem and we are giving rise to multiple questions of proper behavior, that is one of the ethical problems. Okay? Means there is a single problem, but we are converting that single problem into multiple problems. That is ethical problem. Then sensitivity to ethical issues is necessary, but not sufficient for solving them. Okay? So these ethical problems, they are very sensitive. Okay, so these ethical issues, they are very sensitive. So that's why it is necessary to solve that problem with ethical way. Okay. We have to solve that problem with ethical way because that is sensitive. But we are not sufficient to solve that problem. We are not able to solve that problem in ethical way. So at that time, these unethical practices goes on. Okay? Then next is ethical problems are the result of conflicting values. Okay? So due to that ethical problem, due to that unethical practice, it will result on conflicting values. Someone he has to break his principles, someone he has to break his morals, someone he has to break his rules. Why? Because it is not possible ethically. So at that time it will be the social problem. Okay? Then these ethical problems that can relate to both the subject matter of the research and the conduct of the research. Okay? So if we are conducting the research, these are the related with both the subject matter and conduct of research. Okay? We have to perform this ethical practice, but many of the time these could be the problem for research, writing of the research and conducting the research. Okay? Then the adequate understanding of an ethical problem sometimes require a broad perspective. Okay? Broad perspective it is required. Okay? So this broad perspective that we can achieve this with the consequences of research. Okay, then ethical problem involve both personal and professional elements. Okay, so many of the times we have to be we present with negative impact, and that will reflect on the personal that biodata, because the responsibility which is on the researcher, so that should be clear. Okay, so there should not be any conflict. Then ethical problems can pertain to science and to research. Okay, so the judgment about the proper conduct that will lie on a continuum ranging from the clearly unethical to the clearly ethical. Okay? So these are the ethical problems in social science and research. Then next, the nature of moral judgment. Okay? Any judgment which we are doing, so that should be available, that should be present with the nature. Like if the researcher is inviting, a researcher is inviting the subject to enter into a relationship. Okay? He will enter into the relationship which is honest and open. The researcher owes his or her subject to a similar level of honesty and openness. Okay? So, as a researcher, now you have that responsibility, you have the relationship with the research that you should be honest with your research and the similar level of honesty you have to maintain. Okay. Again, if the researcher again encouraging the honesty and openness, which is a kind which exposes the subject to risk of hurt or injury, then the researcher has some obligation to protect the subject from that hurt or injury. Okay? So it is very difficult to manage by the researcher after getting any hurt, any injury with his researcher, okay, with his professional career, with his child, or with his any professional friend. So it will be insured if he done the that unethical practice. So there should be a moral judgment with the researcher. Okay. Then these research subjects, it should be considered as another granting institution, then granting their valuable time in return for generation of valuable scientific knowledge. Okay. So ethical reactions in research, how we should react ethically with that facility. So the researcher, he should be considered as another granting institution if he is working some other places. So he should return for the generation of valuable scientific knowledge. Then the traditional cost benefit model that underlies ethical decision making in social research, that should be modified to emphasize the outcome of both doing and not doing the research, and also the possibilities of doing the research in another manner. Okay? That is the traditional cost benefit model. Okay? Then more detailed reporting of ethical procedures, these are used and they are required and expected in all published social research. Okay? The publishing research, that should be elaborated, that should be ethical procedures that should be used while writing and publishing the research papers or research publication. Okay? Then the focus on the ethical acceptability of applied research, that should become the critical component of mutually reinforcing applied scientific community. Okay? Scientific community, in the scientific community, we are reinforcing these same components in applied research. Okay? So at that time, we have to accept the ethical thing. Okay. Then evaluation of the ethical acceptability of social research required an awareness of the ethical climate, social and scientifically community. Okay. Then next point in the ethical research is epistemology, ethics, and educational research. Okay. So in this educational research, how the ethics is present, how the ethics that affect on this educational research. Okay. So these will unsettle or the questions established on the beliefs. Okay. So the beliefs which you have put in front of the society. So at that time, many of the questions that may be unsettled, okay, that may be unanswered. Okay. So at that time, we are working on the beliefs. Okay. So beliefs, they may be positive or negative, but we have to settle the problem. Okay. So to conjecture about possible alternatives and develop new ways of seeing things. Okay. So we should not left the beliefs. Okay, we have to work on the beliefs which we put while starting any research. Okay, so whatever the beliefs we put at that time, we have to see, we have to develop the alternative method. Okay, to left the problem or to leave the unsolved problem. That is not the way to sort out any problem. We have to sort out that problem with alternative ways. Okay? So that is the educational research, and like that, that will describe or eliminate aspects of experience. At that time, the experience which we have at the time of basic degree or at the time of post graduation, whatever the work we perform, so to describe or to eliminate this aspect in that way, the experience is very, very important in our science. Okay? So on the basis of experimental experience, we can solve many of the things. Okay? Like in our pharmacy, we solve we have the many problems while performing any type of research. Suppose we are working on the development of the tablet, okay, or manufacturing of the tablet. So it is not easy to manufacture any tablet because many of the problems are here, like shipping, then canning, then breaking. So like that, many of the problems that we find out while performing while manufacturing any tablet. So at that time, many of the things, many of the that problems, they are we have to face. So at that time, to leave, to let the problem is not the solution. Okay? So at that time, we have to find out many ways, many outcomes which are based upon the experience. Okay? So due to experience, we are able to solve that problem. Okay? So it is also included in this experience. Okay. Then to search for reason, evidence, and argument for warrant that might support one belief rather than another. Okay. We have to believe on the present evidences, present arguments, present warrants, present reasons, so that will support to improve our belief. Okay. Then to test these beliefs and establish at least provisionally the truth of the matter under investigation. Okay. So we will go on the next step of investigation based upon the belief. Okay. Then the knowledge, the generalizable knowledge. Okay. So how the knowledge is used for maintaining the ethical practice or for performing the practical knowledge or to performing the practical things. Okay? So knowledge, it will contribute to a theoretical framework, okay? To theoretical framework of an established body of knowledge. Okay? So on the basis of results, on the basis of knowledge, these results are expected to be generalized to a larger population beyond the site of data collection or population study. Okay? Whatever the theoretical framework which we are designing, which we are establishing, so that is based upon the knowledge. Okay. So these based upon the knowledge, the results which we are getting, that are generalized results, and that result should be implemented in the larger population, because whatever the concept like Newton law we are just using by our knowledge, and we are keeping that Newton law in the larger population, and we are analyzing, do we are getting the right results, do we are getting expected results. So like that, the type of generalizable research that can be performed. So these results are intended to be replicated in other settings. Okay. So this is generalizable knowledge. Then research integrity. Okay, research integrity is also important parameter. So what is this research integrity? So this research integrity that may be defined as active adherence. Actively, we are adhering to the ethical principles and professional standards essential for the responsible practice of research. Okay? So whatever the research we are performing, or whatever the research we are doing, that is with the integrity. So integrity means the adherence. We are adhering, we are bound with the ethical principles which have been given by the professional standards which are responsible for practicing the research. Okay. Some standards then have been issued by professional bodies, by professional agencies. Like if we are studying the anti-diabetic study. Okay. So for that anti-diabetic study, the American Society of Diabetes, they have issued some range of calculating the HbA1c, like it should be in around 6. If it is more than 6, then we can consider as the pre-diabetes, or if it is more than 8, so we can consider it as diabetes. And again for fasting, the range of 90, and for post meal the range of 140 microgram per liter. So that is the given range of the diabetes, that sugar, which is given by the professional body. So we have to maintain that professional standard, which is considered as the responsible for practicing of the research. Okay. So there are the two ways by which by active adherence. So by active adherence means we mean to adoption of the principle and practices. Okay. So in the adherence or the practices as a personal credo. So in we are developing.
पटवेकर सर.
Yes.
पटवेकर सर.
Yes, sir. बोला.
बहुतेक स्लाइड चेंज होत नाहीत, मुलांचा मेसेज आहे.
No. Active adherence. It's slide of research integrity.
नाही, आता सध्या मला दिसत आहे इथिकल प्रॉब्लेम्स इन सोशल सायन्स रिसर्च.
Okay. Now
आता रिसर्च इंटिग्रिटी आता दिसली.
Okay. Due to enlarge, I think it has not moved on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sir.
So
Okay, sir. You continue, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So here in this research integrity, we have this active adherence. So it means the adoption of the principle and the practices. So as the personal credo, so not simply accepting them as impositions by a rule maker. Okay? So some rules they have been issued by the professional standards and by ethical principles. So it means the honesty and the golden rule. So this truthworthiness and high regard for the scientific record. So this is the research integrity. So we have to adhere, we have to find this is principles which have been issued by the professional standards. Okay? Then this practice that will include about the honesty, about the ethics, about this honesty and fairness in proposing, performing, and reporting research. Okay? We have to maintain the honesty and the fairness in the proposing, in the performing, and in the reporting research. Okay? Then accuracy and fairness, we have to maintain the accuracy and the fairness in the practice of ethics. Okay? So in representing the contributions to research proposals and reports. So many times if we are writing the research proposal, many times we are writing for the proposal to get funding from some agencies. Many times if we are writing the review article, if we are writing the research article, so at that time our accuracy and that fairness, it should represent the contribution of the research. Then this practice of ethics, it should be proficient and it should be fair in peer review also. If we are writing some peer review, if we are writing the scientific interaction, some communication and sharing of resources. So at that time, we have to maintain this fairness and honesty while writing, while proposing, while performing the research. Then we have to include the disclosure of conflict of interest. Okay? Why we are writing these proposals? Why we are writing these articles? So at that time, if we have to return the conflict of interest. Okay, what is the interest of the researcher while writing these proposals? Okay. Then the protection of the human subjects in the conduct of research. Okay. So this is also important parameter in the human subject. We have to perform the research in some conduct. Okay. So in preclinical studies, we have to maintain this conduct of research. We have to maintain the guidelines. So human care of animal is the conduct of research. Then adherence to the mutual responsibilities, mentor and trainee. This is also one of the responsibility of the researchers to maintain the ethics in their practices. Okay. Then while this science, it will encourage, these will develop. So the vigorous defense of one's ideas and work. So this ultimately research integrity means the examining the data with objectivity and being guided by the result rather than by the preconceived notions. Okay. So we have to ultimately want to achieve the research integrity, which will give the examination of the data with relation to the objective. Okay, objective is very important while writing or while practicing the research. Okay. So in this scientific integrity and research ethics, so we have to act only such a way that want to your actions to become a universal law, so applicable to everyone in a similar situation. Okay? Whatever we are performing the research, that should be useful or that should be used as like a universal law. So we have to act in such a way that always treat humanity, whether oneself or other, so as both the means of an action, but also as an aid. Okay. Then next is the act as though you were a law-making member. So like the hypothetical kingdom of the age, and therefore only such a way that would harmonize with such a kingdom if those laws were binding on all others. Okay. We have to write the proposal like it should be work as a law. Okay. It should be work as a standard for everyone. So which are the elements of professionalism? Okay. Every time we say we should be professional, we should be we should be work like a professional. So what is meant by this professionalism? Okay. So there are different elements which are included in the professionalism. So in that, first one is the intellectual honesty. Okay. So we have to maintain the honesty. It should be intellectual. Okay. Then excellence in thinking and doing. Okay. So this is very important. Only thinking is not more important, but doing like that is more important. Okay. So only thinking is not important, and whatever we think, that is completely based upon the knowledge, completely based upon the reading which we perform while doing the research. Okay. So while doing the research, whatever knowledge we are achieving, that should be comes whenever we think about our research. Okay. Then this next is the collegiality and openness. So we should be open, we should be collegious, we should discuss our research with same level of the researcher, and we should take the input, because whatever we are thinking, that is not 100% true, but if we share that thing with the other researcher, so something we will add on in our research. Okay. Then autonomy and responsibility. Yes, this is also important. If we are working on our research topic, we have our autonomy. We have our own thinking. We can add our own knowledge in our research. But it is not mean that whatever you are thinking, that is true and you are performing with your manner, that is also wrong. So as we are a responsible person, we have some responsibility. Okay. We have some that uh, pressure, or we have some that integrity which is completely based on the knowledge. Okay. Then self-regulation. Yes, as we have discussed all these points, they depend upon the regulation. We have to maintain the regulation, we have to maintain the guidelines, we have to maintain the protocol. Okay. Then scientific misconduct. Okay. So which are the areas where the misconduct that can be happen, or that could be possibly may happen, may take place. Okay. So the violation of the standard code, what is meant by misconduct? Okay. So in this misconduct, the violation of the standard codes of scholarly conduct and ethical behavior in professional scientific research. Okay. Professionally scientific research. So the research which will deviate from practices commonly accepted in the discipline or in the academic research community. Okay. So where these misconduct or here the researcher he may wrong or the misconduct may perform in scientific way. So generally in proposing, performing, reviewing or reporting research and creative activity. So in this way or in this option, so like the proposing, the misconduct may happen by the researcher or in performing the practicals, this misconduct may happen. Then reviewing these articles or reviewing the work which has been done. Then reporting research and creative activity. So in this case, the misconduct of the scientific misconduct that may happen. So these are the common types of scientific misconduct. Okay. Common types of scientific misconduct. Okay. So in that falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. Okay. In these three ways, the scientific misconduct that may happen commonly. Okay. So what is falsification? Okay. So in this, the changing or omission of the research data or the data to collect the claims, hypothesis, other data. So in that case, the falsification can include the manipulation of research, instrumentation, material, or process. Okay. So this manipulation means the manipulation of images or representations in a manner that distorts the data or reads too much between the lines. Okay. So this can also be considered the falsification. Okay, so what is falsification? It means the manipulation of the research instrumentation, research material, and or process. Okay, so in this manipulation may distort. So the reads too much between the lines that can also be considered falsification. Okay, this is a common type of scientific misconduct. Then next is the fabrication. Okay. So the fabrication, it is the construction or addition of data. Construction of data or addition of data. Then observation or characterization which has never occurred in the gathering of data or running of experiment. Okay. This has not been happened while you are performing the practicals. This has not been observed or characterized while performing this practical work. But we are adding that data. We are adding the observation. So this fabrication that can occur when filling out the rest of experiment runs. Okay. So claims about results need to be made on complete data sets as normally assumed. So where the claims may be based on incomplete or assumed results in a form of fabrication. Okay, that is called the fabrication, falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. Okay, so plagiarism is also important type. Here, the scientific misconduct may happen. So this plagiarism is also very important parameter which plays an important role while writing the research proposals after performing the work. Okay. So plagiarism right from writing your synopsis to the writing of your thesis, writing of your research articles, writing of review articles. So many of the things, many of the work, this plagiarism, it plays an important role. So whole entity. So in this use of someone else's work without attribution. Okay. So what is plagiarism? So to know what is plagiarism is very important. So to use of someone else's work without attribution or to passing it off as one's own, so that text, figures, tables, and even ideas that can be plagiarized. Okay. So when a whole entity like entire article, entire figure, entire table, entire data set, which we are republishing without attribution or permission, there may be copyright violation as well as ethical misconduct. Okay. Here the line is given that when a whole entity we are taking, we are republishing without attribution or permission. So I wish to add some point. If we are taking the permission or attribution to add 100% same data in our research, that is also not accepted. Okay. Only some up to 10% we can add, we can that make the addition in our data with the permission of that author, that we can add, but whole 100% we cannot add as such data in our work, okay, which we are going to present. Okay. Then next, unethical practices in scientific research. Okay. So these are the unethical practices that may conduct or that may happen. So unethical practices like intentional negligence in the acknowledgement of previous work. So many patents they are available and we are neglecting and we are writing our own patent and we are cite that paper or patent while publishing our new work. Then to deliberate the fabrication of data which we have collected. Okay. Then deliberate the omission of known data. Okay. So to deliberate the own data, okay, we have to deliberate. So in this, we are performing or the omission of known data, the passing another researcher's data as one's own. Okay. Then publication of results for the consent of all of the researchers. Okay. Then failure to acknowledge all of the researchers who performed the work. This is also one type of unethical practice. Then not writing the conflict of interest. Then repeated publication of two similar results or reviews which are ways. Okay. Then causes of scientific misconduct. Why these causes happen? Why this misconduct happen? So Due to the conflict of interest, so one if your project is supported by someone with financial assistance and that person is working on that same research without funding, and we are taking that research and we are saying that we have performed this research with the expenditure. So any type of interest, any type of the conflict, this may produce like personal interest, professional interest, and financial interest. Okay. So in these are the three common interests: personal interests or conflict of interest. Okay. Then policies regarding human subjects, live vertebrate animal subjects in research and safe laboratory practices. Okay. Then here may be the mentor-mentee responsibilities, and due to the bad relationship between mentor and mentee, this misconduct may happen. Then if we are doing the collaborative research and including the collaboration with the industry, we are not adding the name of that industry. Suppose the industry has provided the many sources like giving the API, active pharmaceutical ingredient or excipient, and we are not mentioning the name of that industry, and we have written that we will include your name in the research paper or in the thesis. At that time, if we are skipping the name of that industry, so at that time the misconduct may happen. If we are writing the peer review, so at that time also this misconduct may happen. Then data acquisition and laboratory tools management, like sharing and ownership. Then research misconduct and policies for handling the misconduct. Then responsibilities of authorship and publication. Just a minute. Then research misconduct and policies for handling the misconduct. Then the responsibility of the authorship and publication. So many of the journals, they give the application or the format on which we have to return our authority to publish. Okay. As a researcher, we are giving the authority to include the name in the that journal or in that paper. Okay. Then the scientist as responsible member of society, the contemporary ethical issues in biomedical research, environmental research, and social impact of scientific research. Okay, so at that time we have to take the permission for all these biomedical research, environmental research and societal impact. Okay. Then next is the plagiarism. Okay, as we have discussed, there are three common factors which are common factors for misconduct of any research. So this plagiarism, which is presenting someone else's work or ideas as your own with or without their consent, or we are incorporating your work without full acknowledgement. Okay. So acknowledgement should be given. So these all published and unpublished materials, whether in manuscript, so these plagiarism, which is presenting someone else's work or the ideas as your own, with or without their consent. Okay. So we have to take the consent of the researcher while using his data for the publication. Okay. So all these published and unpublished materials, whether it should be in manuscript, whether it should be in printed or electronic form, this is covered under the definition of plagiarism. Okay? So this plagiarism may be the international or the reckless or uninternational. Okay? So for the whole globe, the plagiarism, it will be covered for whole the globe. So it is not like the nation. So if we are running, there are many softwares which are available for checking the plagiarism, like Urkund is one of the software, Turnitin is one of the software. So from that software, we can search that is our work is already published by some other, or suppose the work which we have performed that is same as other researchers. So it should not happen that same work that should be printed by our side or by anyone. Okay. So under this regulation for the examination, or the intentional or reckless plagiarism is the disciplinary offense. Okay. So here the 3 points we have seen. Okay. So here the falsification, fabrication, and plagiarism. So in that, this plagiarism, it is for the, it will stand for the offense. Okay. So it is very important, so to know what is the plagiarism and how to search the plagiarism, how to remove the plagiarism is important point in plagiarism. Okay. So possible reasons for plagiarism. Yes. As we know, what could be the possible reasons of this plagiarism? As I have mentioned, due to the increased pressure to publish. So in our nation, in India, as we know, we should compulsorily need to publish 2 articles based upon our topic. So due to this, the candidate, the researcher, he will try to write some research articles. So for writing that, he will collect the data from all other resources which are available in his surrounding. And but the candidate, he doesn't know how it will be identified by this plagiarism. So due to this pressure of the publication, in academics also, due to the increments, due to the promotion, this publication is important. So due to that pressure, the writing, short time writing, or without performing any practical work, we are preparing any article. So in that case, there may be more chances of plagiarism. Okay. Then next reason for plagiarism is ease of copying and pasting online work. Okay. So the copying and pasting is nowadays, it is very easily we can copy paste. As we know, we are very smart to copy paste these things. Okay. Then difficulties in writing in English or another language, as English is the universal language, and due to the resources which are very less available in our region to publish our paper in regional language. Okay. So due to that, our that researcher is unable to write the proficient English, UK English, okay, US style English. So we are unable to write. So that's why this plagiarism, we just copy some sentences from somewhere and we paste that sentences in our work or in our article. Then misplaced respect for others' work. Okay. We doesn't give the respect to other. Then lack of suitable training. we should take the training for writing the articles, writing the papers, publishing the papers in good impact factor journals like Elsevier, Scopus, Springer, Taylor Francis, Bentham, Village. So like this, many of the journals or their websites, they provide online training to how to write the articles or how to write the thesis. Okay. So we should take the suitable training. Then lack of awareness of rules of acknowledgement of author's work. Okay. So it is important, very important that in our nation. So we should not know what is copyright, what is trademark, what is this plagiarism. Okay, because we know, as an example, I am telling, like Cadbury chocolate, Dairy Milk chocolate, there are number of products which are available on that same chocolate, Cadbury chocolate, or like same design we can take the same product we can sell. So, but in developed countries, it is not happen. Okay, so the rules are very strict, and the misconduct of the happening of such cases, that is very less chances of that happening of such cases. So same in the case of writing any article, any book, any sentence, any paragraph, this acknowledgement, giving the acknowledgement is very important. Okay? So we should try to write to give the acknowledgement for any paper or proposal. Okay? So these are the possible reasons for plagiarism. Okay? Then forms of plagiarism. So like means word to word quotation without clear acknowledgement. Then cutting and pasting, we are cutting the that thing from somewhere and pasting in our proposal. Then paraphrasing, then collusion, agencies or other persons, and autoplagiarism. So these all are the forms of plagiarism. Okay. So we should give the accurate citation. Help of professional agencies for other resources. Okay. Then plagiarism as per guidelines of IEEE. So self-plagiarism without identification and acknowledgement, cutting and pasting of other work without identification and acknowledgement, duplication of the method, friction without clear statement of the sources, then republication of the conference paper with little added value, then review papers which largely replicate previously published content, then the plagiarism of the images, plagiarism of the tables, formulas, then data without both acknowledgement and copyright permission. Okay. Then plagiarism of some ideas, like we have discussed in many patents, or we are putting the patent as a new idea. So we should go with the plagiarism report of all these patent writings. Okay? Because these already published patents, they have to come under this plagiarism. Whatever the published material which is available, printed manner, online manner, offline manner, internet manner, that all that comes under this plagiarism. Then wholesale plagiarism of previously published text, then republication of the translation without acknowledgement or publication or full citation. Okay? So all these are the IEEE guidelines which are given for plagiarism. Then These are the references, as I told you, these are the citations, these are the references which I have used for preparation of these presentations. Okay. These are also the articles which I have used for preparation of the presentation. So finally, I would say thank you to all the listeners who have listened this talk. Uh, I request to the participants, if you would like to have any question related to presentation, the session is open for the discussion for question answer. Please, if anyone have some doubt or questions, then you can ask. I have received one message that everything is clear. Okay, that's good. I have tried from my side to present all the things related to this research ethics.
Sir, fabrication, repeat, please.
So, if we see slide of plagiarism, fabrication, so just in that it has included the point like so filling out means if you read the construction or addition of data, whatever data we are adding without performing the practical, without performing any practical thing, any observation, if we are characterizing, if we are going for UV calibration curve, but we have not performed that UV. So without performing any practical thing, we are adding the data in our work, in our project. So that is called the fabrication. Is it clear? Is it clear, ma'am? Okay. Can we say that type of scientific misconduct is part of it? Yes, obviously. Scientific misconduct means it is unethical practice. Any more we can say for the discussion part? I think there is no question to anyone. If you have any question, any problem, you can contact me by taking the contact details from Dr. Vishal Marathi, sir. So no question. So I request to Marathi, sir. Can I conclude the session, sir?
Sir, Dr. Shailesh Patvekar, sir,
Yeah, please.
on the behalf of Research Center and Research Scholar, I'm very thankful to you for sharing this informative information with us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I stop sharing, ma'am?
So you can leave the meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Patki, sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, please. But
Sir, continue, please, sir.
should I leave the meeting? Huh?
Patki, sir, are you there? Patki, sir. हाँ, ऑल स्कॉलर्स, हम लोग 1 बजे मीटिंग स्टार्ट करेंगे। अभी 20 मिनट्स का ब्रेक रखते हैं, तो 1 बजे मीटिंग फिर से स्टार्ट होगी, तो आपको फिर से ज्वाइन करना है। ओके?
ओके मैडम।
Okay, ma'am.